You save 20% for your down payment in Switzerland for your first property, and these costs are not the only thing. In Switzerland there are 11 extra costs most people don't tell you about. Some are one time, some are forever, and they can easily add up to 5% of the purchasing price. So if you're buying a property in Switzerland or you're planning to do it, this video is for you. I'm a former banker, we are mortgage brokers, we work with over 30 banks and we are specialized in mortgages, so let's go. First, the notary fee. Every property transfer in Switzerland must be notarized. It's required. The typical range, depending where you live, is 0.1% to 1%, in that range. You pay that fee on the asking price. It varies massively by canton. In Geneva and Vaud it's very high. In Zurich and Zug it's much lower. Who pays it? Usually it's divided 50-50 by buyer and seller, but it's a thing of negotiation. I've seen some negotiations where the buyer had to pay for everything. Cost number 2, land registry fees. That's a fee to officially register your name of the property of the land. That's registered in the cantonal land registry. It's usually 0.1% to 0.5% of the purchasing price. It also includes the new mortgage you will have to register it. Well, is it negotiable? No, it's not negotiable. You will have to pay this. Cost number 3, property transfer tax. In German, Handänderungssteuer. This is a one-time tax when the ownership changes. The rates vary from 0 to 3.3% depending where you live. There are some cantons who have abolished it, like Zürich, Zug, Schwyz, Uri, Schaffhausen. Cantons with high rates are Geneva, Vaud. Well, always check it how it is where you are planning to buy it. And also very important, there are some rules that if you buy it and you're living it by yourself with your family, you won't have to pay it. So there is like a rule of 5 to 6 years. If you change location within 5 to 6 years, for example, and you're renting it, then you will have to pay this amount. And most people who buy it and live in the house and the property by themselves, they won't have to buy it. So check it or ask us. Cost number 4, mortgage certification creation. It's called in German the Schuldbrief. If the property doesn't have a mortgage certification which covers your mortgage, you might need to create a new one. The costs are usually 0.1 to 0.25% on top to the notary fees and the land registry fees. Well, on a mortgage of 800,000, that's easily 1,500 francs. Here's a recommendation, a tip. Ask the seller if there is already a mortgage certification and how high it is. Cost number 5, bank valuation fee. Every bank makes an own evaluation of the property. Most banks do it freely. If you work with a private bank or in private banking, there might be a charge of this, like 500 francs, or they will tell you to go and ask an external professional who only does these estimations, and they will charge you for it. But most banks include it in their fees. So if you get a mortgage at the bank, they will just charge you something like 250 francs to 350 francs for everything, creating the mortgage and this whole process and making the estimation. So that's a fee you should know about. Cost number 6, the mandatory building insurance. It's called Gebäudeversicherung in German. It's mandatory in most cantons. It's in 19 cantons mandatory. The typical annual costs are 300 francs to 1,000 francs per year. It covers fire and elemental happenings. Well, it doesn't cover earthquake, or if something is happening with water pipes, you will need to talk about it with a broker usually. Well, you usually want to have extra coverage because it's going to be very expensive if something happens. Cost number 7, maintenance reserve fund. In German it's called Erneuerungsfonds. It's for people who buy an apartment. It only applies to condominium owners. If you buy an apartment, you will have to pay an amount every month, and it goes into this fund for everybody. And so if you need a new kitchen, you have to pay it by yourself with your own money. But if you need a new elevator, it will be paid with the amount on this fund. Or if you need to pay for the whole building something, everything that applies for everybody will be paid with this fund. So it's very important, a tip, if you buy an apartment, look at how much money is on this fund for everybody and if there are some payments due. Because if they are planning to do renovations and there is not enough money in it, you will have to pay it by your own money. Meaning I had clients who needed to put in 20,000 francs of their own money. So very important. Well, you usually pay 0.3 to 1% of the property's value in it. Cost number 8, the 1% maintenance rule. Rule of thumb, count with like 1% of the property's value for maintenance. On a 1 million property, it's 10,000 francs per year. Whether you spend it or not, you should just put it aside. The banks assume this in their affordability calculation, so you should do the same. Older properties could be much higher because they're not good isolated. Newer properties have good isolation, so it might be lower, maybe like 0.6%. Very important, after 2029, maintenance costs on properties which are self-owned and where you are living are not tax deductible anymore. So very important for you. Cost number 9, monthly costs. It's usually heating, water, stuff like this. For an apartment, it's usually 300 to 700 francs per month on top on your mortgage. For a house, the heating alone is 2,000 to 4,000 francs per year. Well, most experts underestimate this, so I made a video about this, so include it please. Cost number 10, wealth tax and property tax. Switzerland has a wealth tax. Your property counts as wealth tax. The tax value is usually 60 to 80% of its market value. The wealth tax usually depends on your cantonal rules. It's typically 0.1 to 0.7% on your typical wealth per net. The mortgage debt reduces your wealth debt. So it's very interesting to have a mortgage in Switzerland, and that's why you see so many people being 80 years old and still have the mortgage, because you can deduct it from the taxes. Cost number 11, the imputed rental value. It's called Eigenmietwert in German. If you live in your own home, Switzerland counts a fictional rental value which you will gain. It's only till 2029. It's very new. They made some political changes. We had it like for maybe 80 years. And now it's going to change, so it will affect you. It's usually 60 to 70% what you could rent the building for. It pushes most homeowners into a higher tax bracket, so no one liked it. Only people who rented something, they were like, yeah, take this, homeowners. The implementation will be in 2029. There are some changes for first-time buyers. If you don't know the rules, just ask us. Now, if you are planning to buy a property in Switzerland and you know now more about the cost, but you have one very important cost, your mortgage. It's very important to have a mortgage which suits you with your situation and to have the rates very low. And if you don't know which banks are going to give you a very good rate and you don't have the time to talk to every bank, then you should talk with us, because we are mortgage brokers. We work with over 30 banks and we take care of the whole process. We guide you through every step, from looking at properties to buying it to go to the notary, and on top of that we negotiate the rates and we get you a very good rate. And if you don't want to take care of your mortgage because you might make some costly mistakes, just get in touch with us. We will take care of everything. Click down on the link below. You can fill out the forms and then we can see if we are able to help you. Bye bye.